Okay, so these are most likely cruise missiles that are coming in. These are Iranian cruise missiles that are coming in and hitting Israel. The reason to me that I think they're cruise missiles is because of the speed that they're coming in with. If it's a drone, most likely you're not going to see them. They're not going to be as illuminated because they're not coming in quite as fast. In this video, we're going to talk about everything we know about the Iranian attack on Israel. Who was involved, what actually happened, how was it defended against, and where do we go from here? I'm glad you're here. Let's dive in. So let's go back to why this attack actually happened. So Iran is saying that this attack happened as retaliation for an event that happened in Syria near Damascus on April 1st, where suspectedly, Israel took out senior members of the Iran Revolutionary Guard. Apparently, these generals were smuggling arms from Iran to Hezbollah, and then Hezbollah is using those arms to attack Israel. So essentially, Israel is saying, hey, we're going to cut off the supply chain, the logistics that's bringing in these weapons, whether they're mortars, they're small arms, they could be larger forms of artillery, and these Iranian generals were supposedly involved in smuggling all of that into Hezbollah, which Israel clearly sees as a direct threat to them. And it's actually interesting to go back to some historical context here, because believe it or not, Israel and Iran used to be good friends. They used to be allies, strong allies, as a matter of fact. But after 1979 and the Islamic Revolution that happened in Iran, essentially Iran decided that Israel would be their bitter foe. And it kind of became a holy war at that point. But it's always interesting to see throughout history as nations got along for decades, even hundreds of years, and then all of a sudden something changes, a regime changes, and now you've got a situation where you've got bitter enemies. But now here we are in a situation where Iran is sending a direct attack to Israel, and that's an unprecedented change since most of the time Iran has used their proxy armies, just as they've used Hezbollah and Hamas to attack Israel. Now they're actually directly confronting them. I mean, it's not much different, the fact that they're using proxy armies, they're still going up against Israel, but this is definitely a new paradigm that we're waking up to in the Middle East. So this attack happened in the early morning hours of April 14th. Now, before it happened, Israel was on the record as saying that we've got F-35s and Navy vessels ready to counter this attack. So most likely that's going to be the F-35I, and it's going to be weapons that are launched from ships that are equivalent to what the Iron Dome may have inside of it, which are very highly targeted precision missiles. Additionally, there's going to be Patriot-based missiles in the area as well. So prior to the attack actually taking place, Israel's going to reassure their population and basically bolster anyone who can support them that, hey, we're ready to defend ourselves, and this alliance is ready to defend Israel. And as you can imagine, as a part of that alliance, the United States is going to be leading the charge as the #1 supporter of Israel. The United Kingdom is going to play a part as well. They're going to have Typhoons, so they're going to be ready with their fighter jets to help defend Israel as well. And then an unlikely ally that is becoming more and more likely is Jordan. And Jordan is going to have an array of aircraft. They're most likely going to be using an F-16 to help support Israel and shoot down some of these drones and cruise missiles. Jordan's also got a battery of weapons themselves, not exactly like the Iron Dome, but similar. They're going to have aerial defenses that they're going to use to protect Israel, but it's most likely mainly protecting Jordanian airspace as well. Because a lot of these weapons coming from Iran, although some of them most likely targeted, some of them are going to be dumb drones that have a takeoff point and an impact point. But what if one of these drones goes astray? And Jordan knows that, but they also want to support Israel. They've been stepping up recently to help Israel defend itself. So Jordan is going to play a part in this alliance as well. So we've got this alliance, most likely F-35s, Typhoons, fighter jets from the UK, and the Iron Dome, Patriot missile batteries, potentially F-16s in Jordan. And we've got this alliance that's set up to defend Israel. But what are they defending against? What is Iran actually sending in? Let's get into some of these drones that are going to be taken down by the fighter jets and the Iron Dome. In my opinion, the Shahed 136 is most likely going to be used in this attack. Now, I can't confirm that, but just from what I know about this drone, and I actually made a full video on the drones that Iran may be sending to Hamas or Hezbollah or using themselves, and I aired that video about a week before the attack happened, just because I could see Iran's strategy kind of start to develop. What would they mainly use to attack Israel or other nations in the Middle East? And the Shahed 136 is probably their cheapest, most widely produced option that could be sent in. They could use this as reconnaissance, which is kind of what it's built for, but in this case, it's most likely relatively easily adaptable to have some sort of an explosive placed on it and to just turn it into a kamikaze drone. When you're looking at the distances that this thing can travel, it's going to be somewhere around 1,600 miles with a top speed of around 120 miles per hour. Now, the shortest distance from Iran into Israel is around 600 miles, so easily reachable by the Shahed 136. And again, you got to think of economy of warfare. Iran's trying to send as many drones as possible to try to overwhelm the Iron Dome. They're most likely not accounting for the fact that a lot of these drones are going to be plinked off by coalition aircraft prior to even having to get intercepted by the dome. But the 136, they have them in enough numbers that they can just risk a whole bunch of them and lose a whole bunch of them and send them up as basically cannon fodder. Iran also has a drone called the Shahed 149 Gaza, and this essentially looks like a Predator drone in the US. The US arsenal has a lot of drones that have this makeup, and this drone actually has a Pratt & Whitney engine in it, which is just kind of wild to think about. But anyway, I digress. The big thing with the Shahed 149 is that it's most likely used for reconnaissance, and the price of it is probably going to make it less likely to be used as a kamikaze drone, or for it to be used in less numbers than other drones that Iran would send up. The range on this is going to be greater than most of the Iranian drones that they have, and they're probably going to want to keep these things around for reconnaissance. So I would say these larger drones most likely weren't used, and it was more of the smaller variants of the drones that were kind of the distractor, so that then they could sneak in cruise missiles and other rockets that they were hoping would kind of do the majority of the damage. Because the range on the 149 is somewhere around 3,000 miles. I mean, this thing can loiter, it can go far distances, and it's probably got more sophisticated photographic and video equipment on it than they would want to risk in a kamikaze drone type scenario. It might even be harder to adapt that drone than it would be for the Shahed 136. Iran also has drones that are powered by jet engines. Those could be cruise missiles or drones. I mean, in this case, they're probably interchangeable, as a kamikaze drone is going to be the mission of all of these. They've got a numerous amount of these things, so most likely they were really banking on these suicide kamikaze jet engine powered drones and cruise missiles to really do the majority of the damage. Luckily, reports are coming in that 99% of all these cruise missiles, drones, and rockets were intercepted either by coalition aircraft or by the Iron Dome, which is super impressive, and that just kind of sends a message. But it also is a feat of economic destruction if you think of what Iran has done. They've taken a much cheaper force and they've forced Israel and coalition forces to use AMRAAMs, AIM-9s, precision-guided munitions from the Iron Dome. So the economy of warfare might not have been won by Israel, but it is a big statement of Israel to show, hey, if you try to mess with us, it's not going to work. And the whole world right now is bracing to see if there will be any retaliation from Israel. The US has come out and said that they will not back any retaliation from Israel, but that they stand by Israel and they stand by the protection and defense of Israel. So as you can see, this coalition stood up and helped Israel defend itself. That's what I expect to see more of in the future, and hopefully this doesn't escalate into something even more wild and crazy than it already is. Again, guys, thanks for checking out this video. I'm gonna have a full video come out on the Iron Dome. I'll have a full video coming out on kind of what's been going on with Israeli airstrikes in Syria. That'll be coming out as well. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you on the next one. Best compliment you can give me is just click on another video that'll pop up over here. Thanks so much. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.